most best to arrange these programs for the community. So I ask Allah Azza wa Jal with His lofty names to protect every single one of them and to reward them with excellence. Ameen. My brothers and my sisters, I don't want to speak too much because a lot of us are fasting, and I don't want to lose my voice as well because I'm very, very tired. I did 2 khutbahs today in the masjid. MashaAllah, we have a lot of people who attend for Jum'ah here. This very, very light, short, concise lecture that I would like to deliver revolves around a passage taken from the kitab called Madarij al-Salikin by Ibn al-Qayyim rahmatullahi alayhi. Ibn al-Qayyim rahmatullahi alayhi, who you could maybe call a specialist when it comes to the heart. The diseases, the ailments, the sicknesses of one's heart. You could say maybe that the Shaykh really, really mastered how to remove these stains that our hearts become so affected with. Right? There is a passage in this kitab that I want to, inshallah ta'ala, go through today, and we still won't be able to give it its true justice because of the time. I didn't actually realize that there's only an hour left or so for the iftar. 10 ways, brothers and sisters, how we could really become from the close, beloved servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How an individual can become from the awliya of Allah Jalla fi'ula. Those individuals that are really, really beloved to Allah Jalla fi'ula. We always tend to ask the question, why is it that I don't feel that connection between myself and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? I feel like there's not that connection. I feel that I'm spiritually dead and empty. I feel that maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not pleased with me. I feel that Allah Azza wa Jalla is angry with me. This feeling, my brothers and my sisters, didn't come out of nowhere. Right? Today, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and of course because it's the month of Ramadan, it is the month where one can rid himself of filthy bad habits. And it is the same month, my brothers and my sisters, that an individual can introduce new habits into his life. And that is because the doors of Jannah have been swung open, the doors of hellfire have been slammed shut, and the shayateen have been chained up, right? that دخل الشهر رمضان فتحت أبواب الجنة وغلقت أبواب النار وسلسلة الشياطين. So the hearts are a lot softer, right? It's so much more easier to introduce a good habit into your life in this month. So this is also the thought process behind why I decided to go through this, because we all want to have that close connection with the Almighty Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he goes through 10 of them, and I'm hoping inshaAllah ta'ala, if we're not going to memorize it, we at least write it down, right? Unless you're like Imam al-Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi, who memorizes everything that he hears, or maybe like al-Imam al-Shafi'i, who had photographic memory, then you are exempt from what I said. So he mentions 10 points. One thing I forgot to mention, my brothers and sisters, I think this is very, very important. In a lot of the lectures that I've been delivering, we've been having people from different walks of life, from different backgrounds attending. Some are still at very early days of them practicing the deen. Many sisters have been attending the programs that might not necessarily wear the hijab outside of the masjid. Or they might be wearing the hijab in a way that you, my friend, who comes to the masjid all the time, is not accustomed with. So please take extra care in how you look at them. Don't start staring down at these individuals who have attended the masjid maybe for the first time. And likewise, when it comes to our brothers, you may see a brother who might be dressed a certain way, or his hair is a certain way, and then you're giving him all of these dirty looks. Don't be the reason why this individual never ever comes back to the masjid, my brothers and my sisters, because of the way you look at them. Recently, I told a story when I was in Kilburn Islamic Center, that there was this brother who used to come to the masjid when he was young. He was booted out of the masjid because of some noise that he was making in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of course, It may well be that due to our cultural practices, we talk to someone or we deal with someone in a way that is pretty problematic. So he was booted out of the masjid. This in the same individual started clubbing. Later on down the line, and I'll tell you guys what happened in the club. He went to buy a drink or so and whatever else they buy from the bar. And as he was walking towards his table, he dropped the drink. The bartender came running to him and said, don't worry about it. He cleaned the place, went back to the bar and brought him a fresh new drink and said, here you go. Later on, the same brother said, look how they treated me in the masjid and look how they treated me in the club. Right? Our mu'amala ma'an nas, the way we treat people goes a very, very long way, brothers and sisters. It really, really does. And the good treatment and the bad treatment is something that isn't easily forgotten. People remember this. It could be that one interaction you had with that individual that he never ever forgets. Right? That he never ever forgets. And the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my brothers and my sisters, is called what? Baytullah in Arabic. The house of Allah. It is not just for practicing people. It's not just for the odai, the old man that we see sitting on the front rows, right? He's always in the front line. The masjid is not just for him. The house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is for every individual who considers himself a Muslim. And likewise, the non-Muslim is able to come to the house of Allah Azza wa Jal to seek guidance, to learn about Al-Islam. The masjid is a center for just about everything you can think of. Right? So we want to be individuals who are welcoming. Individuals, my brothers and my sisters, who don't make it uncomfortable for others. Right? So what are these 10 things, my brothers and my sisters, or these 10 points that I have written down here that will make us, inshaAllah ta'ala, from the beloved servants of Allah Azza wa Jal. And it will also cause us to have love in our hearts towards Allah Jalla fi'ala. في الأسباب الجالبة للمحبة والموجب لها وهي 10. Number 1, my brothers and my sisters, قراءة القرآن بالتدبر والتفهم لمعانيه وما أريد به. Reciting the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with contemplation, with reflection, trying to understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intends with His speech. كتدبر الكتاب الذي يحفظه العبد ويشرحه ليتفهم مراد صاحبه منه. And then he gives an example. The same way an individual really goes out his way to understand a book that he's reading or a book that he's trying to explain to others. Right? I'll tell you guys a story. My friend one time told me that he was on the flight to one of these Gulf countries. And on this flight was this Muslim brother, Khaliji, right, from the Gulf areas, who had Richard Dawkins' book, The Atheist. And besides him, he had a dictionary. And the brother says to me, I looked at him and you could see he was in deep thought, really trying to understand what Richard Dawkins was trying to say, this atheist. Right? This individual, born and bred in a Muslim country, my brothers and my sisters, where you have every Islamic material, right, at your disposal, so easy to find and accessible, right? He's reading. In the Quran. Have you ever tried to understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to say? And the brother said no. So you're putting all of this time and effort in trying to understand Richard Dawkins, this atheist, right, who's anti-religion, but the religion that you were born in, you haven't given it a chance. A lot of the answers that we look for, my brothers and my sisters, especially when we go to these universities, right? And by the way, these universities, they are breeding grounds for kufr, shirk, feminism, liberalism, secularism, right? All of these different isms, and of course, the Rainbow Team are extremely active, right? These universities are breeding grounds for all of this. Am I wrong to say this, my brothers and my sisters? I am someone who went to university. I was doing civil engineering. One of the reasons as to why I actually decided to leave, because I went there for 1 year, and then the opportunity of going to Medina, it presented itself. And I just want to make it clear, I'm not trying to tell anyone to drop out of university, huh? If I get your mothers and fathers chasing after me. I'm not saying that. I got accepted, that was one of the reasons why I went, but also another reason was, my brothers and my sisters, I would see Orientalists who are non-Muslims who learn about our religion, not so he could become guided or become a Muslim, no. So that they could target vulnerable Muslims who are uneducated about their religion. I would see them roaming around campus targeting these kind of individuals, right? I'm like, I'm here. Yes, I spent 4 years in Yemen. However, these guys are here learning my religion. Maybe it's time for me to take this opportunity and to start learning more about it, right? They would walk around university campus targeting individuals on the edge. And that, unfortunately, is the case with many, right? We don't have the ammunition to fortify ourselves when the doubts start coming from every direction, right? Wallahi al-Azim, I did a tour around the country, 27 universities. Manchester was one of them. 27 universities I went round. I would deliver a lecture about Surah Yusuf, but I would try to make it relatable to the student, the university student, right? And just about every single one of these universities, someone would come up to me and goes, yeah, man, some of these classes I'm taking is a problem, right? Some of these classes I'm taking is a problem. Because I don't have that foundation, these doubts, when it comes my way, I really struggle to repel it, right? My brothers and my sisters, Wallahi alladhi la ilaha ghayruh. The Quran has the answers that we are looking for, whether you realize it or not, right? Whether you realize it or not. I get academics calling me, right? Individuals who are very good at philosophy and all of these different isms. They know how to respond back to it. However, they want, the Islamic side of things. So they say to me, can you give me like maybe a verse or a hadith that I could link it with, or a statement of a scholar of the past, so I could give that Islamic spin to it, right? And subhanAllah, I say to myself, you have a lot of these Western theologians, Western individuals who are very, very well versed when it comes to Islamic theology, right? Who might say a number of things, and then we glorify these terms, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already told you that. And the Messenger uttered it over 1400 years ago. And the scholars have spoken about this a very, very long time ago, right? It always makes me appreciate the knowledge that we have studied whenever I get into some of these discussions. And then likewise, my brothers and my sisters, right? Sometimes we ask questions as if, right, Islam is some human being. What does Islam say about this? What does Islam say about that? What's the position of Islam on this? Why don't you ask me, what does Allah say? Can you see how the dynamics completely change when you say, what does Allah, the Almighty Creator, has to say about this particular issue? And then sometimes you're not told the reason as to why you have to do this, or why you have to stay away from this. And that is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty Creator, my brothers and my sisters, has governed us with a sharia that is best for every single one of us. Whether we see the good in it or not, You know, my brothers and my sisters, I speak to atheists, right? And every atheist that I speak to has different morals and ways of looking at life, right? Which is different to the other. This guy says to you, yeah, this is something that I should do. This is something I should stay away from. You ask him why, he goes, You speak to another atheist, very, very different as to what he sees morally acceptable and what he doesn't. Are you brothers and sisters with me? It's very, very important. If I ask you today, my brothers and my sisters, cannibalism, does anyone know what that means? Huh? When a human eats another human, what do you guys think of that? Okay, should we do it? Should we not? Huh? Anybody want to eat human beings here? Huh? Huh? He said it's disgusting. يحب أحدكم يأكل لحم أخيه فكرهتم. Allah says, would you love to eat the flesh of your brother? When speaking about backbiting, you dislike it. Sahih? Did you know, my brothers and my sisters, that up until this very day, there are some places around the world where this is perfectly fine? It's perfectly fine. Why do they do it? You probably will ask them the question and they'll say, did it? Right? Did you know, my brothers and my sisters, that smoking weed, right, was unlawful in just about everywhere you go in America? However, now in a lot of states, it started being legalized. It's shifting. Whatever was maybe totally unacceptable before, and likewise a lot of the other colorful things as well, right? In a lot of places, when it was unacceptable, as time went on, it started becoming a lot more acceptable. So you speak to an atheist, he says to you certain things are perfectly fine, and these things we need to stay away from, but based on what? You speak to another atheist, it's completely contradicted to what the first one said. This is why, my brothers and my sisters, we are left with no choice except that we refer to an external entity, and that is none other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who governs us with a sharia which tells us what we should do and what we shouldn't. Otherwise the world will become chaotic, and this is why it's chaotic, because everyone wants to do what they wish and they want to accept life in a way that they desire. And that's why we have the situation that we do, right? Same when you look at the law of the land. If everyone did whatever they wanted, how do you think the world or the country would be? Imagine now there was no traffic lights. Everyone could just go in and out, and it'd be further, right? We are in need of a sharia that governs us, that tells us what we should do and what we shouldn't. Does that make sense, my brothers and my sisters? Not so long ago, we came across this article, I believe it was on the Independent and also the Daily Mirror and the Daily Mail, about pork and alcohol. Does anyone remember? Huh? Does anyone remember the article, the news article that was speaking about bacon and alcohol? Come on, guys, am I the only one that reads the news? Huh? Huh, brothers and sisters? Let me read it out to you guys. Huh? The article stated bacon and alcohol increase stomach cancer risk. Even 1% of that, you are at risk of stomach cancer. It was on the Independent, an official news outlet. الآن يا إخوان, now we're going to believe in the deen? We needed 1400 years for somebody to come along and tell us, oh, you shouldn't eat bacon, or you shouldn't drink alcohol, right? Even though Allah told us it is harmful, yes, there might be some benefits to it, right? وَمَنَافِعُ لِنَاسِ وَإِثْمُهُمَا أَكْبَرُ مِنْ نَفْعِهِمَا. Right? Allah already told us. But we didn't accept because, oh, it doesn't make sense to me, but why is everybody doing it? Oh, why this, why that? Allah told you. Right? Otherwise, there will be fawda. It will be chaos, my brothers and my sisters. Right? Afwan, my brothers and my sisters, I went on a bit of a, there. But the shahid min al-kalam, my brothers and my sisters. When you look up the meanings of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has uttered in His book, Wallahi alladhi la ilaha ghayru, you will grow in your love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We just need to open up that Quran and learn what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intended. I'll give you guys another example, my brothers and my sisters. Right. Put your hand up if you're looking to pursue a sister. You guys engaged, huh? There's quite a few, mashallah, quite a few brothers. May Allah Azza wa Jal give you righteous wives. And our sisters, did I say wives? Type. Wives only, guys, huh? Women, nothing else. And may Allah Azza wa Jal give our sisters righteous husbands. When you come to know about a sister that has this characteristic and that characteristic and then this trait and then that trait, what does that do to you? What do you want to do next? You want to get to know that sister even more now, right? It's a potential. It increased your desire to have this lady, sahih? Not that I'm trying to compare this lady to Allah Azza wa Jalla, my brothers and my sisters, not at all, right? But the more we learn about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, the more this increases our love for Allah Jalla fi'ala, right? And we'll speak later inshallah ta'ala about the only source of knowledge that we have with regards to Allah Azza wa Jalla, a little bit later inshallah, as this is one of the points. Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah rahmatullahi alayhi, my brothers and my sisters, he says, ما رأيت شيئا يغذي العقل والروح ويحفظ الجسم ويضمن السعادة أكثر من إدامة النظر في كتاب الله. I haven't seen anything that feeds the mind and the soul and protects your body, right? And also guarantees you happiness more than looking in the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? SubhanAllah. What I'm going to suggest to every single one of you guys, because it's one thing giving a reminder and it's another providing practical steps to what we say. Have you guys heard of the tafsir of Ibn Kathir? The abridged version is translated into English. I think I may have said it before here, Allahu A'lam. 10 volumes. Alhamdulillah, I've been getting a lot of people messaging me because I said it in other lectures, right? And they said, this Ramadan we're going to do it. Guys, I don't like reading English books, but that was the sweetest English book that I've read. Even the way it's written is not like in old ancient English. You will love it, my brothers and my sisters. It's £140. Some of you guys spend hundreds of pounds on Balenciaga trainers, right? It is the sweetest £150 that you're going to spend, right? Still have how many days to the end of Ramadan? Yeah, maybe another 20 or so. Guys, if you can buy it, and then you dedicate a part of your day to start reading a bit of it, right? One of these YouTubers that every single one of you guys know, I told him, go get this kitab, right? He goes, I already had it at home, but it was picking up dust. He goes, just reading Surah Al-Fatiha, it blew me away. Right? Looking up its meanings. My brothers and my sisters. Tafsir Ibn Kathir, it is the abridged version. Tafsir Ibn Kathir, it's in English, 10 volumes. It is green volumes, my brothers and my sisters. Also Ibn al-Qayyim rahmatullahi alayhi says, فَقِرَاءَةُ الْقُرْآنِ أو فَقِرَاءَةُ آيَةٍ بِتَفَكُّرٍ وتفهم خير من قراءة ختمة بغير تدبر وتفهم. Right? Reciting one verse with contemplation and trying to understand its meanings, it is a lot better than doing a whole khatmah, where one reads the whole Quran without understanding anything from it. And it is more beneficial for the heart. وأنفع للقلب وأدعى إلى حصول الإيمان وذوق حلاوة القرآن. Right? And it is more effective with one trying to taste the sweetness of the Quran, my brothers and my sisters. Number 2, my brothers and my sisters, التقرب إلى الله بالنوافل بعد الفرائض فإنها توصله إلى درجة المحبوبية بعد المحبة. Seeking closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through an-nawafil, carrying out the voluntary supererogatory acts, my brothers and my sisters, right? Because this will lead an individual to a level that he refers to as al-mahbubiyya, which is a daraja ba'd al-mahabba, a daraja, a level, a status after the love that one can acquire from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even higher. Right? We know the famous hadith al-Qudsi. One will keep on getting closer to Allah Azza wa Jal after the obligatory acts by doing the supererogatory voluntary acts. My brothers and my sisters, in the month of Ramadan, we are engaging in a tarawih, right? We pray the night prayer. And I know it gets very, very tiring. But what is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is encouraging us with? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this month wants us to become from the best of people. أفضل الصلاة بعد الفريضة, the most virtuous act after the obligatory prayers is what? Salatul Layl, the night prayer. Right? So Allah Azza wa Jal is training us, my brothers and my sisters, so that after that we can become from Ibadur Rahman. You know the sifat to Ibadur Rahman, if you look at the end of Surah Al-Furqan, not Masjid Al-Furqan, guys. Surah Al-Furqan, a chapter in the Quran, right? At the end, it lists a number of qualities and traits and characteristics of the best of people. One of them is وَالَّذِينَ يَبِيتُونَ لِرَبِّهِمْ سُجَّدًا وَقِيَامًا. Those, my brothers and my sisters, who spend their nights in prostration and standing in prayer, right? No one's going to say, my brothers and my sisters, that standing up at night is mandatory, or if you don't do it then you are bad. No. Wallahi, what I say to the people all the time, my brothers and my sisters, if we're not waking up at night, we are really, really missing out. Right? We are really, really missing out. Right? It is that time, my brothers and my sisters, where one draws away from his bedside, away from his family, his loved ones, and then he prays to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It comes with a feeling that you cannot put into words, my brothers and my sisters. And then the dua that you make, you really want something that you're struggling to acquire, try Qiyamul Layl, my brothers and my sisters. The dua that one makes in the last third of the night specifically, as Imam Shafi'i mentioned, it is like the arrow that doesn't miss its target. It's when Allah comes down, right? So this night prayer that we are engaging in, my brothers, don't look at it as a burden. You are now training. The month of Ramadan, I look at it as a madrasa, as an institution, where we are now looking to introduce new so we can continue it after the month of Ramadan, right? Well, I came across a Twitter post, my brothers and my sisters, where a sister was saying, she screenshotted her text message to her boyfriend. You know what she was saying, my brothers and my sisters? I said it in the khutbah today. As soon as Maghrib kicks in, I don't want you to talk to me. I'll see you on Eid. Right? I'll see you on Eid. And everyone's commenting. Some are saying Ramadan Muslims. Some are saying this is not how you do it. Some are saying, oh, mashallah, she's going to stay away from her boyfriend for 30 days. And after that, she's going to go back to him, right? In the last 10 nights, we plan the filth that we want to do on the day of Eid. Imagine that. Does that not happen, guys? In the last 10 nights, the most greatest nights of the year, we are planning which car I want to take her on, which hotel room I need to book out, what I need to do, which restaurant I need to come on Womser Road, sahih, and which car to rev, A'udhu billah from that road, right? May Allah protect us from that road. I mean, unless you're just going to eat and you're going out, guys. Nothing else, No offense to anyone who's got a restaurant there. Shahid min al-kalam, my brothers and my sisters. Right? We are being trained. Not that so we could go back to our bad ways after the month of Ramadan. No, it's an institution. It's a lot easier now to better ourselves and then we continue it after. Sahih? Number 3, my brothers and my sisters, دوام ذكر الله على كل حال باللسان والقلب والعمل والحال فنصيبه من المحبة على قدر نصيب من هذا الذكر. So being someone who's always remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether it might be with his tongue, whether it might be with his heart, with his actions, in whatever situation he might be, then he says, فنصيبه من المحبة. The portion of mahabbah, of love, that this individual receives or acquires is in accordance to how much dhikr he does. My brothers and my sisters, what if I told you guys there are people on the face of this earth, whenever they need something, it comes to them straight away, without them even asking Allah Azza wa Jal for it. This is no myth, brothers and sisters, right? This is no myth. This is no lie. And you know why, brothers and sisters? Because Allah says, فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرْكُمْ وَاشْكُرُوا لِي وَلَا تَكْفُرُونَ. Be someone who remembers me, and I will make mention of you. Right? Even without uttering anything, because they are always remembering Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala treats this individual in a way where you are always remembering me, so you need something, here you go. Right? There are people like that, my brothers and my sisters. Is it difficult, my brothers and my sisters, while we are driving, to keep our tongues moist of Allah's remembrance, to say astaghfirullah, 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 astaghfirullah? Huh? By the way, these brothers, they have Quran class, huh? That's why they're leaving. No one stared down at them. Huh? These guys are leaving the class, huh? They're going for their Quran wird. طيب. Are you brothers and sisters with me? There are people like that. You know, there's that hadith, you know, which has easily become one of my favorite hadith. If you feel that you are someone who's struggling with these acts of worship, it's becoming too much of a burden. Right? A man came to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, right, all of these obligations have become too much for me. Give me something, or tell me something, O Messenger of Allah. Was this individual wanting for the Messenger sallallahu to remove some of the obligations from? No, guys. Give me something that will help me with these obligations. He said, لا يزال لسانك رطبا بذكر الله. Keep your tongue moist of the remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal. And perhaps that will help and aid and assist some of these ibadat, acts of worship, that might be a bit of a burden upon you. Right? Are you brothers and sisters with me? Something that is so easy, but the benefits are so many. Ibn al-Qayyim has a whole kitab called Al-Wabil al-Sayyib, where he speaks about the, you know, the benefits of remembrance and so on and so forth.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
This Adhan is sponsored by Pack Foods, where the world comes to shop.